All right. Got a big interview coming up for a swaging machine operator position. Pretty cool, right?
Definitely cool.
We're going to take a deep dive today into some common questions you might get hit with to help you nail those answers, really knock it out of the park.
Absolutely.
We've got RoleCatcher's career and interview guides with us to help us out. They're packed with insights.
Yeah. Think of it as your cheat sheet for interview success.
Exactly. Before we get to the questions, though, let's talk about what this role actually is, what a swaging machine operator actually does.
So you're shaping metal using compressive force. You're basically like a high-tech blacksmith. That's the coolest way to think about it.
I like that. High-tech blacksmith. I'm going to use that.
You should.
But instead of like hammering and stuff, you're using this specialized machine to shape the metal.
Right. And the best part, you're not removing any material. You're just shaping it, leaving it intact. And you can tag it with a unique mark.
That's pretty awesome.
It is.
So, swaging machine operators, they're in high demand these days, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Huge demand. Especially now, with the manufacturing industry. Booming.
So,
Yeah.
this job has amazing potential.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You get to work with incredible technology, lots of opportunity for advancement, and the salary, not too shabby either.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
It is.
The career guide does mention, though, it can be pretty physically demanding and sometimes repetitive.
That's true. It's definitely something to consider. Not for everyone. But you know what's interesting?
What's that?
The guide says the average highest education level for this role is surprisingly achievable.
Interesting. So you don't need a ton of schooling to get started.
Not at all.
That's good to know. Now, this is where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It's amazing.
It really is.
It actually analyzes job descriptions to pinpoint the exact skills employers are looking for. And then it helps you tailor your resume and even practice your answers to highlight those skills.
It's like having a personal coach right in your pocket.
Right. It's incredible. Gives you a huge advantage in the interview process.
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive into some sample questions. First up, can you explain your experience with operating swaging machines?
Okay. So they want to know more than just, yes, I've used one. They're looking for specifics.
Right.
Yeah, the types of machines you've worked with, how comfortable you are with them, and any unique challenges you've faced.
So instead of just listing machines, you need to go deeper.
Exactly. Mention the makes and models you know, your proficiency level, any special techniques you've mastered, Show off your expertise.
I like it. And be ready for follow-up questions, too.
Oh, absolutely. They might ask you to. Elaborate on a specific challenge or a project where your swaging skills really shown. Be prepared.
Okay, here's another one. How do you ensure the quality of swaged products? What are they really asking here?
They're digging into your understanding of quality control. They want to see that. You're meticulous about meeting standards, making sure every product is top-notch and consistent.
So how do you impress them?
Don't just say you're detail-oriented. Show them.
Show them how.
Explain how you use tools, like calipers and micrometers, to verify that each piece meets the exact dimensions and tolerances from the specs.
Okay, so get specific. And don't forget about documentation.
Exactly. Mention any procedures, like statistical process control. Shows you know your stuff.
Yeah.
And talk about the reports you generate to track that quality control data.
Makes sense. Data is king. All
All
right. This next one, I feel it trips people up sometimes. How do you maintain a swaging machine?
Yes, this one. This is where you show them. You're not just an operator, but you take ownership of the equipment.
You care about the machine.
Exactly. And you're proactive. They want to see you understand. Preventative maintenance.
You're not just waiting for it to break down.
Right. Talk about your cleaning routine, lubrication schedules, how you know when parts need replacing.
It's about keeping those machines humming.
Exactly. Keep them running smoothly. Be specific, too. Mention actual tasks, like changing dies or adjusting the feed mechanism.
Shows them you know what you're doing.
And don't forget to mention safety protocols during maintenance. That's always a top priority.
Of course. Okay, next question. How do you troubleshoot a swaging machine?
This is all about problem solving.
Thinking on your feet.
Exactly. They want to know you can handle those unexpected issues and find solutions.
How do you explain that process, though, without getting too technical?
Tell a story.
Right.
Walk them through it, like a detective. Searching for clues. Explain how you identify the problem, diagnose the root cause, and then Implement the solution. You're the hero who saves the day.
I like it. Be the hero
Right.
and use real-life examples.
Definitely. A tricky problem you solved. Did you consult manuals, use diagnostic tools, collaborate with other technicians?
Show them. You're resourceful.
Absolutely.
All right. Shifting gears a bit. How do you prioritize tasks when operating a swaging machine?
Ah, yes. This is about organization and managing multiple demands. Things can get pretty hectic in a manufacturing environment.
So they want to know how you keep it all straight.
Exactly. Walk them through your approach. Do you use a to-do list? Prioritize based on deadlines or production goals. Maybe you have a system for flagging urgent tasks or delegating responsibilities. Share those insights.
And don't forget to mention how you handle curveballs.
Oh, yeah. Unexpected interruptions. Changes in priorities. Flexibility is key.
Got to be able to roll with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of priorities, let's talk safety. How do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when operating a swaging machine?
Big one. Safety's paramount. You got to nail this one.
Absolutely. So how do you do that?
It's more than just listing protocols. You got to demonstrate that you live and breathe safety.
Okay.
Talk about PPE, goggles, gloves, hearing protection. Explain why each one is important and how you make sure it's used properly.
Go beyond the basics.
Right. Mention specific safety procedures you follow while operating, like lockout tagout for maintenance or emergency stop protocols.
Show them you're serious about safety.
It shows you care about your well-being and the well-being of your colleagues.
Absolutely. All right, next up, how do you ensure that the swaged products meet the required specifications?
They're drilling down on quality control again, but this time it's about meeting customer demands, delivering that top-notch product consistently.
You're not just making things, you're making them right.
Exactly. Explain your inspection process, how you use measuring tools and gauges to verify that each piece meets those specific dimensions and tolerances.
Don't be afraid to get technical.
No, be specific. Mention the tools and techniques, like using a go-no-go gauge.
And again, data is your friend.
Absolutely. Showcase those meticulous record-keeping practices. Big plus.
Okay, let's talk teamwork. How do you work with other team members when operating a swaging machine?
This is where your teamwork skills and communication skills take center stage.
Even if you're mostly working solo, you're still part of a bigger team.
Right. Absolutely. Share how you communicate effectively with your colleagues, whether it's discussing machine performance, coordinating production schedules, or just lending a helping hand.
Be a team player.
Exactly. And don't forget about feedback. Giving and receiving it constructively. We all make mistakes, but it's how we learn from them that matters.
Right. It's about growth. All right. Classic behavioral interview question coming up. Can you describe a time when you faced a challenging situation when operating a swaging machine and how you resolved it?
This is a big one. They want to see how you handle pressure, how you solve problems in real-world scenarios. This is your chance to shine.
Okay. So how do we shine?
Choose a specific example. That shows off your skills and your resilience. And use the STAR method to tell your story.
What's that?
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay. So set the scene. What was the situation? What was the challenge? What actions did you take? And what was the outcome?
Exactly. Paint a clean picture. And emphasize the positive result. And don't forget to mention what you learned from the experience. Shows you're always striving to improve.
Great advice. Okay, before we jump into more interview tips, let's go back to RoleCatcher's career guide for a minute. We've talked about advancement opportunities.
Yeah.
But what about staying on top of your game in a field that's constantly changing?
RoleCatcher really emphasizes continuous learning.
Makes sense.
Stay current with industry publications. Attend workshops. Embrace new technologies. This field is always moving forward. You got to keep up.
And networking is crucial, too.
Oh, yeah. Connect with other professionals. Join industry associations. Go to conferences. You never know where your next opportunity will come from.
Great advice. All right, ready to tackle a few more tricky interview questions?
Bring 'em on.
Let's talk about salary. What are your salary expectations? Always a tricky one.
Yeah. It can feel like you're walking a tightrope, you know? Don't want to aim too high. Don't want to sell yourself short either.
Exactly. So how do you handle this one?
Well, first, remember it's a two-way street. You're showcasing your value, but they also got to be on the same page, you know? Compensation-wise.
Makes sense. So how do you find that balance?
Research. Do your homework. Find out the typical salary range for swaging machine operators in your area.
Okay, where do you even start with that?
RoleCatcher salary data. can be super helpful. And factor in your own skills, your qualifications. Do you have experience with specialized machines, advanced techniques?
Yeah.
Those can justify asking for a higher salary within that range.
It's all about knowing your worth.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Know your worth. And when you state your expectations, be clear, be confident. You can say something like, based on my experience and the current market rate, I'm looking for a salary between X and Y.
Straightforward. I like it.
And be ready to negotiate. They might come back with a counteroffer. So have a range in mind. Be open to discussion.
Okay, good advice. Now, for another classic, what are your strengths and weaknesses? I feel like everyone dreads this one.
Yes. The strengths and weaknesses question, it's designed to get a better sense of you as a person and how you might fit into their team.
So how do you talk about your weaknesses without, sabotaging yourself?
Honesty is key, but be strategic. Choose a weakness that's not critical to the job and one that you're actively trying to improve.
Okay, I think I get it.
Yeah.
So you could say, I sometimes get hyper-focused on a task and lose track of time.
Right, but then add, but I'm using time management techniques to stay on top of deadlines.
Shows you're self-aware and you want to grow.
Exactly. Those are good qualities. Now, for strengths, focus on those that directly relate to the job. Swaging machine operator stuff.
What kind of strengths?
Attention to detail, mechanical aptitude, problem-solving skills, strong work ethic. The essentials.
Don't just tell them. Show them.
Right, exactly. Use concrete examples from your experience. Instead of just saying you're detail-oriented, describe a time when your attention to detail prevented a costly mistake.
Okay, so stories. They stick with people.
Absolutely. Stories make an impact.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to one that can really make or break you. Why are you interested in this position?
This one feels high stakes.
It is. It's your chance to show your passion for the role, for the company.
Okay, so what's the best way to approach it?
You got to connect the dots, your skills, your interests, their needs.
No generic answers.
Right. I need a job is not going to cut it. Dig deeper. What excites you about being a swaging machine operator? Is it the precision, the technology, the chance to contribute to something bigger?
Find that spark.
Exactly. And mention something specific you admire about the company, their products, their values, their role in the industry. Do your research. Show them you care.
That's key. Show them you're not just applying to any job.
Right. You want this job for a reason. All right, here's your chance to turn the tables. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, yeah. The interviewee becomes the interviewer.
Exactly. This shows you're engaged, you're curious, you're thinking ahead.
What kind of questions should you ask?
Good ones.
Yeah.
Focus on things that reflect your interest in the role, the company culture, opportunities for growth. Stay away from questions about salary and benefits at this point.
Too early for that.
Way too early. You could ask about training programs, their commitment to safety, their vision for the future, big picture stuff.
Show them you're thinking long term.
Right. Or ask about the day-to-day responsibilities, team dynamics, how performance is measured, thoughtful questions. That spark conversation and help you decide if this is the right fit for you.
It's a two-way street, after all.
Absolutely. Speaking of two-way streets, remember RoleCatcher's AI?
Oh, yeah. Our secret weapon.
It can help you with these trickier questions, too, Personalize your responses. It analyzes those job descriptions, finds the keywords, the phrases that really resonate with employers.
It's like having a personal PR team, crafting your message.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. It also gives you feedback on your practice answers, helps you refine your delivery and make sure you're hitting all the right notes.
That's incredible. It takes the guesswork out of it.
It does. So you've got those 10 common questions covered, plus a few tricky ones, and you've got RoleCatcher's AI in your corner. Feeling more confident.
Way more confident. But before we wrap up this interview prep session, let's zoom out for a second. The career guide talks about advancement. But how does someone stay at the top of their game in a field that's constantly evolving?
Continuous learning. It's the key.
Makes sense.
Stay updated on industry publications, go to workshops, embrace new technologies. The manufacturing world is always changing. Got to be adaptable.
And networking is huge too, right?
Absolutely. Connect with people in your field. Join those industry associations. Go to conferences. You never know what opportunities are out there.
Great advice. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about the future for this role.
Yeah, the future. It's pretty exciting stuff. Think about all the advancements, automation, robotics. It's changing everything.
It really is. Kind of makes you wonder, what's the role of a swaging machine operator going to look like? in the future?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question. And it's not about machines replacing humans. It's about humans and machines working together to be even more precise, more efficient.
I like that. Collaboration. So what skills are we going to need in the future? Are we talking like programming, robotics?
It's definitely possible. Operators might need to program those automated systems, troubleshoot them, make sure everything's running smoothly, or maybe they'll become quality control specialists, overseeing those automated processes, making sure the machines are within those strict parameters.
So many possibilities. It really shows how important it is to be adaptable, to keep learning new skills.
Exactly. The manufacturing industry, it never stops evolving. You got to embrace change. Be willing to learn and grow if you want to succeed.
Makes sense. So as you're preparing for this interview, think about the future too. Don't just focus on what you know now, but what you're willing to learn, how you can contribute to the future of manufacturing. Show them your forward thinking.
It's all about that mindset, that growth mindset. And before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something. RoleCatcher's resources, they're amazing, but they're just tools, Your success ultimately comes down to your effort, your preparation.
That's true. You got to put in the work. No shortcuts.
Exactly. Take the time to understand those concepts, practice your answers, tailor your approach to each company, do your homework.
And when you walk into that interview room, be confident, be prepared. It makes a difference.
It really does. They can sense it when you're ready.
So go out there, ace that interview, show them what you're made of. We believe in you.
We do. The future of manufacturing, it's bright. And skilled professionals like you, you're the ones who will shape it.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap for us today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of swaging machine operators. We hope this helps you nail that interview. Good luck out there.